Now a question may come. Why? Who created this Maya? Who created? Very clearly the answer is given here. It is Prabhu Prerit only. Prabhu Prerit nahi nij balata ke. See the third one. Chaupai. Maya Preraka Siva. If you see that Doha 15. Even in Bhagavad Gita also same thing is mentioned. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. Correct? Mama maya, Bhagavan says. That maya is mine. Ajopi sannavyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swam avashtabhya sambhavami atma mayaya. It is my maya. So maya is the power of the Lord. Just like a strong person has strength, that strength belongs to the strong person. In the same way, that strength, this maya, belongs to Mayavi. Who is Mayavi? The Lord. Mayam tu prakritim vidhi Mainam Parameshwaram. Something like that is there. So naturally the question will come, why did Bhagavan create this Maya? Bhagavan, this is not fair. You are called Karuna Sagara, an ocean of compassion. And this is what you do. Trapping poor Jivatmas into this Maya and making them suffer. You see, you cannot blame God for our suffering in this Maya. Why? Because we are in this delusory world out of our own choice. Out of our own choice. Just like we go to that movie theater. You pay money, get into a world of darkness, and then you are crying. So who is responsible for crying? I myself. I chose that world of darkness. In the same way, this world is chosen by us. How do we choose this Maya? Whenever there is a desire towards an illusory thing projected by Maya, desiring anything of the world is an indication that we are desiring Maya. And the law of this world is, whatever you desire, you will get it. Whatever you desire, good or bad, world or God, whatever you desire, you will get it. That's the law. Devan devayajo yanti pitrun yanti pitruvrataah bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhyajinopi mam. Bhagavan says it's very clear. Whatever you worship, you will get it. The worshippers of gods go to the world of gods. The worship of the ancestors, they go to that world. This is a law. Worshippers means intensely desiring. What do you desire? Now this is something which we have to look within. What am I desiring in life? Because this is the law. Whatever you desire, it will happen to you. Why it will happen? Because the desirer is God Himself. Who is this Jivatma? None other than Paramatma. Deluded Paramatma is Jivatma. So whatever Jivatma desires, it has to happen. Because the Lord of Maya is commanding, I want this. You see? So we are in this world of Maya because of our desire. That's the whole essence of that BMI chart. What is BMI chart? Om, desiring the world, is BMI chart. That desire is represented by V, vasanas. Om desiring V. Om having the desire of V, vasana. Om desired. May I fulfill this particular worldly desire. Now, if a desire has to be fulfilled, what all things are necessary? The sense object is necessary, the world of OET. Correct? The sense organ is necessary, because only sense organ can interact with the sense objects. But sense organ needs a body also. So the BMI is necessary. So the BMI, the instrument, is necessary. The world of sense object is necessary. And a conducive environment for interaction is also necessary. Correct? So that very same Om, that Supreme Lord, identifying with the BMI, enters into the world of OET. That Om identified with the BMI is called PFT, the Jivatma. I hope you know all this PFT, right? I am assuming so many things. What is BMI? Body, mind, intellect. What is PFT? Perceiver, feeler, thinker. What is OET? Okay, very good. So those who don't know also know now. Okay. So the whole BMI chart is nothing but what? Paramatma desiring the world and thus becoming a Jivatma. The central message of Bhagavad Gita is this. Bhagavan says, "Oh my dear children, don't desire the world, come to me." That is the essence. Because if you desire the world, you will go into the world. And the world is nothing but dukkhalayam, abode of sorrow. Don't go there, choose me. Whatever you choose, you will get. Don't make the wrong choice. Don't entertain wrong desires. Because that desire is going to come true. Now, if you have to make the right choice, what is the most important thing? Knowledge. Correct? Most important thing is knowledge, because unless you know, how will you know what to desire? That is why satsang is most important. In satsang, you are taught what to desire in this life and what not to desire. Because that desire is going to come true. If you desire the wrong thing, don't blame the Lord. You asked for it. Therefore, you have to go through it. You get it. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. This is the glory of knowledge. First thing in life is know. First thing in life is not do. First know, then do. First thing in life is not desire. First thing is know what to desire. Then desire. Then work for it. Then you will get it. Satsangatve nisangatvam nisangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nischalatatvam nischalatatve jivan mukti. Satsang. Everywhere you will find satsang mahima is. Here also we will find that later. Moghasha, mogha karmana, mogha jnana vichetasah, rakshasim asurim chaiva, prakritim mohinim shrita. 9th chapter. The moment you don't pay attention to right understanding about life, don't come to satsang. I know everything. Okay. What will happen? Mogha asha. Hopes and expectation, vain. Mogha karmanaha, wrong actions. Mogha jnana, Weigh knowledge. Vicetasaha. Vicetasa means what? Completely opposite understanding of life. Viparichate chetasaha. Then what will happen to that person? Rakshasa, Asura, Rakshasim, Asuri, Mohinim Shrita. He will become a Rakshasa and as Asura. Asura means what? We think Asura means somebody, some Puranic figure. We are only Asuras. Asusu ramante iti asuraha. One who indulges in sense pleasure, thinking that is the ultimate happiness. They are called as asuras. Rakshasa, that person becomes harmful, selfish, doesn't hesitate, troubling others, harming others for one's own selfish reasons. Such a person is called Rakshasa. And Mohinim, completely deluded. You see? So in life, the most important thing is right understanding. Most important. That is why in Chinmaya Mission so much emphasis is given at a very young age itself. Bali Vihar. Expose them to right knowledge. Because life is very, very complicated. Body, mind, intellect is complicated. World is complicated. Everything is complicated. In such a complicated world, we must have the right understanding. World will throw varieties of challenges, difficulties, problems, situations. How to handle them? Unless right understanding is not there, it is just not possible. So that is a symbolic representation of the chariot. Atmanam rathinam vidhi shariram rathamevato buddhim tu sarathim vidhi manah pragrahamevacha indriyani hayanahu Vishayansteshu gocharan Atmendriya mano yuktam bhoktetyahur manishinaha. So the chariot metaphor is given. So what is the chariot metaphor? The chariot is the body. Horses are the sense organs. The reins, mind. The road, the world of sense objects. Now what is the most important thing in a chariot? The charioteer. The charioteer must know where to go, what is the destination. The charioteer must know how to handle the horses. So who is this charioteer? Buddhi. Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. And what is the strength of a charioteer? His knowledge. What is the strength of intellect? Knowledge. Once charioteer knows everything, that person in the chariot safely reaches the destination. That is why knowledge is so important. In Chinmaya Mission, focus is only on knowledge. Bala Vihar, expose them to knowledge. Study group, knowledge. Chik, knowledge. Chinmaya Yogendra. Knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. Once your understanding is clear, you are safe. The external guru gives birth to internal guru. The external guru makes your intellect a guru. Who is guru? The one who shows us the right path. Our own intellect, purified intellect, becomes our guru then. Shows us the right way. So, you see how knowledge is important. When knowledge is not gained, then the Maya will come. Completely veil the intellect, paralyze the intellect, make the intellect see things which doesn't exist. Then it is total delusion. Yes. Now coming back, what is the question? Why did God create Maya? We chose Maya. We chose it. You cannot blame God. How did we choose? By choosing desires. By choosing worldly desires. The moment you are choosing a worldly desire, you are choosing rebirth. You are choosing the world. You are choosing the body. You are choosing an environment. And that is why, what does Bhagavad Gita say? Asanga shastrena drudhena chetva. Asanga shastram. Axe, that huge tree, the tree of ego, the tree of samsara. How to chop it off? With the axe of detachment, with the axe of desirelessness. This is the way. As long as we are desiring the world, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shanam, this will go on. So then what to desire? Desire God. That is the way. Mam ekam sharanam braja. This is the central message of Bhagavad Gita. Desire me alone. Mayeva mana adhatsva, mayi buddhim niveshaya. Nivasishyasi mayeva. So at the seat of meditation, just watch where the mind is going. You will come to know. Wherever the mind is going, understand there is a desire there. That is where we have to work. What about the desireless mind? It effortlessly goes towards the Lord, which is a pure consciousness, which is a self. Okay, so now that question is answered. Why did God create Maya? So what is our answer? Don't say God pushed us into this world. God will never do that. We ignored God and we chose to go to this world of Maya. Remember, freedom is given to us. Bhagavan will never force his way. He will say, choice is yours. You can choose me or you can choose the world. So it is our choice. So therefore we cannot blame anybody other than ourselves for coming to this world. This answers that question.